Y'all think you know country music? You might not know this. Part 77. Back in 1971, Christopherson got John Prine to open for him in New York City at a place called the Bitter End, which has its own history that we can go into on another day. Well, also in New York City was a songwriter, Steve Goodman. Christopherson introduced Steve Goodman to Paul Anka, and this resulted in Paul Anka signing him to Buddah Records, based out of New York. A couple of weeks later, Paul Anka was performing at the Waldorf Astoria on Park Avenue in New York City. And one of the things that they give you is the premier suite performing there. Well, Paul lived in New York City, so he didn't need the suite, so he offered it to John Prine and Steve Goodman as a place to write. So they took him up on it. They went up there and settled in, and before long, John Prine was ready to go out and hit the town. He stumbled back in the room about 1 in the morning. He saw Steve Goodman writing some words on a pad. It was all that I could do to keep from crying. Sometimes it seemed so useless to remain. Well, John Prine said, "Man, you're writing a weeper, ain't you?" And John Prine just jumps up on the bed and starts acting like he's playing a little fiddle under his chin and all this stuff. And Steve Goodman starts laughing. So before you know it, he wrote all these verses and called it the perfect country and western song. They even wrote verses on the wall. And this is the premier suite in New York City at the Waldorf Astoria. Now, John Prine would later claim that he didn't take any songwriting credit for this. That's why you don't know that John Prine is a co-writer on You Never Even Called Me By My Name. At times, he said a couple different things for the reasons why. He said he thought the song sucked, and then it went to #1, and then he found out what a #1 song really meant. And then he said he thought it was silly and didn't want to be associated with it as an embarrassment. So he never took credit for this song. But him and Steve Goodman wrote this song in New York City, shit-faced and out of their minds. I want to play a clip from the Bobby Bare Show. This is one of the greatest shows in history, in my opinion. It aired on the Nashville Network, and Bobby just showcased his songwriter friends, basically. Never been anything like it before or really since. Here's Steve Goodman talking about David Allan Coe recording You Never Even Called Me By My Name. Y'all let me know if you got anything you want to hear about. Any ideas, send them my way.
Well, we were sitting in a hotel in New York City, and the song had a lot more verses before the maid came in the morning and wiped them off the wall. But those are the ones I can remember. And whatever we left out, we put in not too long after that, and David Allan Coe came and spent Christmas at my house one year. I wonder if he remembers that. And we sat around singing songs. And he took that one home, and when he recorded it, he laid this beautiful rap in the middle of it about how I had told him that it was the perfect country song and everything. And I was really glad he did it once I realized what he'd done. He fixed it so that there was a way to record it, and he found a way to do it, It started as a joke, and he found a way to record it.